What's up, guys? Just kind of chilling out in the office here Sunday afternoon. Most of you know by social media we spent the last couple days at Streetcar Takeover Z Max, which is the 4-wide big track in Concord, North Carolina. That's their biggest turnout event usually all year, and they stretch it out into 2 days of racing, and then the one night before those 2 days start where they have the car meet at Twin Peaks. So the goal was this year to get the car done where we could debut it as just a finished piece, just something to look at under our vendor tent at that race. I thought it was unrealistic to think that we would be competing by then, because as much time as I've put into this car, I don't want to rush anything. If it takes another year to get the car figured out on the track, it doesn't matter to me. So we met the goal though, and we was able to show the car off, and I don't have much of a voice. We've talked to people for 15 hours a day for the past 2 days. I've got plenty of sunburn. I've got a crazy looking farmer's tan, but it was worth it. I really enjoyed talking to everybody that come by the tent. The people that bought shirts, appreciate that. We sold a bunch of those, but really I'm just sitting here in the office trying to figure out how I put 3 years of thinking and work and all the people involved into one video. So literally what I'm doing, I've got the GoPro in front of me here, and I'm videoing as I go, and I think I'm just going to give you a little history lesson on the car up to where it is now, and kind of how it come about and why it come about. So let's dive into this and see how many old photos, and I probably won't do photos. I've got a bunch of old videos. Let's just see how many I can dig up and kind of put them in order and show you the progression of this car since the day that I bought it down in South Carolina from a guy named Tyler, which I'm still friends with on Facebook. I can't remember his last name, but Tyler, if you're watching this, at least I remember your first name. So let's dig some videos up and see if we can put them in order and show you where the car started up to where it is now. So enjoy. So as we start the roll of videos and pictures here, this is the car as I bought it from Tyler in South Carolina. It had a big cam in it, a fully built engine, come to find out. This was the L28 that come with these cars, but this had been went through. It had a worked head, big cam, pistons, rods, built to handle 400 or 500 horsepower, which I know isn't that much, but it is for this engine. So this engine was raffled off on one of the Z forums, and it just happened to be in this car. So when it come time to part it out, it was worth a couple $1,000 as what I actually got out of it. The car in this video wouldn't rev more than 4,000 RPM. It had mega squirt. It was just a rat's nest under there. It had a bunch of problems. So I just started pulling everything out here, parting out anything I could get money for, because all I needed was the outside shell for my goals. You can see here I cut the whole back half out of it, the floor, suspension, everything, and built a little frame table to put it on. Got some wheels from Mark Carlisle to mock up, and started building the floor section. Fast forward about 1.5 years, and this is, or maybe 2 years, and this is an LS motor I got from Kick Performance. This is the first fire up on the build that it was that kind of made the car's name. Twin 66 bullseyes, turbos. This is kind of a walk around of the car here before we got it tuned. I was actually, driving up and down the road here, making sure everything was okay. Basically a stock crank rod and piston motor. This motor is actually still in one of our customers' Fox bodies in Tennessee. So it's still out there going. It's just still turbocharged on a different turbo combo. But here we are at TKM in 2017, early 2017. You'll notice Kevin's red Mustang that he still had at the time over there. This is before TKM built their dyno facility. This is before a lot of stuff happened with TKM. This little dyno we're on is actually an ATV dyno that they used, and that's what the car was initially tuned on. So here we are at Mooresville Drag Strip. We used to get the track from Donnie and rent it out and test it just privately so we could figure the car out. This was one of them days. I think it run up 571 at 126 here, but you can see it's kind of everywhere. Just the suspension wasn't happy, and that's what kind of made us, trash the whole setup and start over, just because I had built the chassis kind of wrong. This is Streetcar Takeover Atlanta. The fastest the car had ever been was this pass, 558 at 133 was the 8th mile pass, and we went 875 at 140 to the quarter mile because we lifted and forth to keep from wrecking the car. And you can see in the video here that it was going good, and then it used to be on slicks and it just got really unstable and out of the groove or something, and I had to get out of it. I got back in it just enough to edge Jonathan Anderson out, but still just about lost it. So this is going to be a brief slideshow of the chassis progression, just breezing through it real fast. This is the old floor section and the front end and part of the back, which we cut out and threw away after selling what was good off the front there. Here's us laying the cage out with the windshield and stuff still in, just getting as much room as we can out of it. See, we've got it welded to the fixture table or the chassis table. I fit it with the old seat. You can see how low the other cage was. It's got a notch on the top of the seat. Getting the windshield took out there. Mike there recently got hit by a car. Him and his son both got killed, so we're gonna miss him, but he's taking the factory windshield out. Z-Trix fiberglass doors. Everything fiberglass, needs some tender love and care to get it to fit, but they're pretty good. Here's my hard parts for the motor from mock-up I got from TKM. It's a tall deck LSR, solid block. Notice the anti-roll bar is still in there from the old build. It's not going to really get any tougher. It's a 2-inch with the internal bearings. There's Cody Franklin doing the welding on the chassis. We'll get to a little video of him in a minute. There's most of it's mocked up there, seat brackets, everything, 4-link. It's just all tacked together really good, and most of it ready to final weld. Here we got the body pulled off the car for final welding with the roof bars and stuff. And then here's a little brief video that Cody made with his phone, one height welding the chassis together. He's actually Underground's Racing's fabricator right now. He does their roll cages and stuff in the Lambos and welds most of their turbo stuff up. So he really did help us out with doing most of the labor as far as the welding and the hard stuff on the cage, just in the afternoons for some extra money and stuff, because he used to work local to us, and he kind of had to drive past us to go home. So between myself, Joey, and him, we worked together to make this chassis exactly what I wanted it. Here's a front end from Retrospect. Had it custom made for me with the headlight buckets molded in so they're not separate. Here's the front bars laid out. Used the Tim McAmus adjustable strut cups. Got the front mounted on. Built a tree on the inside of it just like you would any other one-piece nose. All those parts are separate. We just screwed them together where it would be one piece. So here's the car on 29.5s. Not going to run that big, but they fit. Deleted the rear hatch, which saved a bunch of weight. Just did a ribbon strip around there, or a scallop strip, bolted to the Lex end to it. Here's the car when it's at Dark City Customs. Jimmy Grooms and his one of his other employees, I forget the guy's name, sorry, but they worked their butt off getting all the rust out of this body, and one thing or another, had to do a lot of work to get everything to fit as good as it does. And everything's one off. There's nothing you can just buy and it fit good on these cars. You have to make it fit. So we deleted the fuel door, all that stuff just to make it slick. Here's the body filler on there, you know, before he sands it down. And after it's all said and done, he sprayed it with some epoxy primer. So when it come back to me, it was pretty much ready to paint, wrap, whatever. This is the original cowl panel. It's still on the car, and you know, he just made filler panels for the little flip up things because we're not going to flip them up anymore. So that's how it looked after he got done with it. Super slick. And then this is when we brought it back to the shop. So they really done an awesome job on that. So there's about 10 minutes of history. So without further ado, let's check out what Hast 2.0 looks like today. before the battery goes dead, I just want to thank some people that played a huge part in this, whether it been huge sponsorships or huge toleration of my persistence to figure out things. First of all, I want to thank God for allowing our business to do good enough to afford a build like this and giving me the health to work long nights or sometimes all night to get it done. And I want to thank my team and my wife for putting up with me, pushing through to get this done. I mean, there were some times I didn't come home at night or wouldn't be home for 2 days, just go straight, no sleep to get this thing done like it is. So I appreciate them tolerating me as far as that goes. So just honorable mentions on some companies: Paul at Retrospect Carbon, Jimmy Grooms at Dark City Customs, Bullseye Turbochargers, Plasma Man, Fuel Tech, MJB Performance, Brown and Miller Racing, Carson and Calvin of Pro Graphics, Tick Performance, FFP Customs, Hammer Concepts, TKM Performance, Robert at AEI, Landon at GLS Fab, Shear Fab, Maven, and our friend Cody Franklin, who did most of the hard labor on the chassis to keep the build progressing as we was busy in the shop. So and another mention, our Race Parts Solutions, we got a lot of their parts on this build, and we work in with them making a lot of production parts, so give thanks to those guys too. But those are the key players. I hope you've enjoyed the reveal video. I've tried to give you a little bit of a background of the car in this video if you've watched it all the way through. So I hope you enjoyed it. Look for a couple days. You can watch Carson and Calvin wrap this thing on a time lapse. So make sure you check that out. It'll be the next video that goes live on the channel. So thanks for watching, and I hope everybody likes the way the car looks. See you guys.